Welcome back, troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Do we have an official Fender Friday this week? Let's take a look. Yep, says Fender on the headstock, right? Nope, this is a faux Fender Friday. This is a very early Nash Guitars build by Bill Nash. So this company produces high-end boutique guitars in the Fender style, and they are aged only. So that means they'll do you up a P bass, a jazz bass, they'll do a Telecaster or an Esquire. You've got the Strats, you've got the Jazzmaster. They've even got kind of like a double cut Tele with 2 pick guards and F-holes called the Wayfarer, and other custom builds. Their claim to fame, besides producing vintage-looking guitars that are aged, is they use 100% nitrocellulose lacquer, and they make them play like the original vintage guitars, but with the player in mind, price-wise. This company has operated from 2001 until the present day, and they are located in Olympia. Not buy this guitar, it's actually a local buddy of mine. I first met him when I did that Fender Bullet Strat that I traded him that awesome blue Futura for. That was guitar. It's got some pretty interesting history to it as far as Nash guitars go. This is from the very, very early days of this company, before they even kept any records or anything. But he bought this from the original owner who purchased it from Bill Nash. Now obviously he wanted to verify that with Bill, so he emailed him. And he was able to confirm, and he remembers this particular Strat because it was one of his first attempts at a paint over job, which is something he's very well known for now. You see you've kind of got this shoreline gold thing going on over top, tobacco sunburst finish here. But the other big identifying characteristic are these stickers he put on it. Because this was back from the era where guys just chose what they want. So Nash had suppliers in which the buyers could choose the bodies, the necks, pickups, and other supplies from. At this point in time, he was just in his basement. It's called the basement era. There was 400 square feet of workspace, and the paint booth was just an old shower stall. But what was cool is he did offer for free to remove the Fender decal and put his own on it and sign the guitar if you just send him the neck. So that's an option if you're interested in purchasing this guitar, but don't want to deal with the whole forgery part right there. Something else interesting that Bill said, if we take the pickguard off, we might find some other key details about this instrument, like written underneath here. So we'll have to throw this one on the workbench and see what's hiding underneath this mint green guard. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Alright, so I fully deassembled this guitar just to make sure we see everything that there is. I wasn't initially planning on taking the neck off, but the reason I had to is, the pickguard wouldn't come off if I didn't, because it's got that little overhang right there. So on the underside of the pickguard here, we can see the Rio Grande pickups right here. Looks like it says Vintage Tallboy ST in the year 2003. That's what those two are. I'm not quite sure what this is though, because I don't see any writing on this one and it looks different from that. We've got the Emerson wiring kit with blend pots, so you can kind of have like an EQ control essentially is what it's doing there. So if you're not happy with the sound of any of these pickups in whatever position you're in, you can kind of like add some treble or take some away. It was really kind of interesting. It makes this a very versatile Strat. As far as the body routes go, I do not see any additional markings within the body, so I was a little bit saddened to see that. I was hoping we'd see something interesting. But in the neck pickup cavity, you can see that they put like a small little shim in there to get the neck angle right. Looks like it's a partial pick right there, and it's stuck on there pretty good. We'll take some time to appreciate the aging job. I mean, look how they did the pickups right there. It's kind of like been picked through. You've got a little bit right there, and a natural yellowing look all around. But something else I really like is see how this area is super worn? It's also matched by the pick guard being worn there too. Got a very nice vintage looking trem here with all the corrosion and everything that comes with that. In the output jack cavity, just in case, I looked in here to see if there are any markings. I do not see anything though. This was kind of a nice touch. They even have a factory stripped screw right there where you can't actually take it out because the screw head's not very good. But in here, I finally found something. I had to take the spring out of the way, but it looks like it might say Nash. It's kind of hard to read. It's definitely a leading N, but I can't really make out what the other three are. As far as the neck goes, there are some markings on this. Maybe this is what Bill was talking about. It looks like we have 3554 Nash penciled in at the bottom of the neck there. And it also has Nixon written on it. It looks like twice. You've got it right there in marker, and then it looks like it's there again with pencil. The frets are pretty tall on this guy. I mean, they've got some very light wear and tear here. You've got some light divoting right here, but nothing that I noticed that really harmed the way this thing played. And I would describe this as a soft V style. It's kind of got a nice point to the back of the neck, but not overly pointy. So let's go ahead and throw this back on and get some measurements. We have a 25.5-inch scale length with a 1.69-inch nut width, which increases to 2.02 at the 12th. The soft V neck measures 0.87 at the first fret and 0.98 at the 12th. This example weighs 8 pounds, 10.5 ounces.
Now that we know about the specs and history of this instrument, let's go ahead and hear how it sounds. we know how this instrument sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. This is a Relic Job, so obviously it's kind of dumb to go over the condition. This is more so just to, take a look at it rather than know every little minor detail on this. So here we can see Fender logo, Stratocaster, original contour body decal as well. I notice up here that the finish is actually kind of flaking a little bit, so I want you to be aware of that. But you've got nicks and dings all over this thing. I mean, it's impossible to tell what came, originally on this thing and what happened, over the 10 years or whatnot that this thing has been around. Now back here is Frank Zappa here. I guess he's pooping on the toilet with his pants down. And again, you've got some more nice, kind of natural looking wear. I like how the headstock has been aged, and the tuners have also been made to look vintage. Now they function really well, much better than they look. Looking at the back of the neck here, I don't really like the way that this has been aged, because usually, at least from what I've seen on like Gibson necks, you don't wear all the finish away. There's still spots of the ambered material left. It's usually just in high traffic areas, but I mean, I can see how this happens naturally as well. And even playing this neck, I mean, it feels worn in and not necessarily a fake aging job. But if you do kind of get up here, it's the difference between a gloss feel and a really nice satin feel. So it's got that satin pretty much right where I play the guitar anyways. I don't do a bunch of high up soloing material where the gloss is still there. But we have a beautiful rosewood fretboard on this one. Frets are nice and shiny. You do have some minor fret wear. Nothing that's really going to affect playability, but it's good to know about. I like these inlays. I'm not sure if they're trying to emulate the clay dots or not, but they're kind of yellowed. They look nice. And now the body. It's all relic'd up here. You've got nicks and dings. You've got the worn through gold finish kind of showing through to the Sunburst, as well as through to the actual wooden body. And you've got that pretty much all over here. The finish checking, it looks pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's a Relic Job. It's good enough that most people wouldn't really notice it. I mean, this definitely has that well-worn-in vibe, and nothing's out of place. Sometimes you'll get Relic Jobs where, there'll be a patch of wear right here. What's the point of that? I mean, here you got somebody picking, so that makes sense. Right here, that's somebody's arm rubbing against the finish. That makes sense. I also think this looks like a little tongue, a guy going, hey. And then I think my favorite relic part of this is right here, because this is my first vintage style tremolo unit, and it sits a lot lower than I'm used to seeing on the modern Strats. But you see how it's kind of all chunked up right there? That's because that's where this bar just naturally rests into the body, so that's beautiful. There's a lot of attention to detail on this thing. You've got the nice aged hardware as well. You've got nicely aged knobs, a black one right here, once again for the blender pot, and your 5-way selector switch. And I'm really thankful that there's only one sticker on the front. It says Route 66. And you've got that kind of nice mint green guard going on here. Back of the body, we have a neck plate. It says L37104. And we've got all of these little stickers. Now, I don't mind stickers on the back of the guitar. I mean, I personally wouldn't put them on any of mine, but this kind of has a cool vintage vibe to it. You've got Felix the cat, a smiley face guy, Yosemite National Park, a Jimi Hendrix one. It looks like Moana from Hawaii, a peace sign, the Chicago YMCA, the right to hunt terrorists, clowns are gonna eat you type thing. This one's kind of interesting. It's Elvis with Nixon, more peace stuff. And then don't forget about Zappa back here. So it's kind of period correct for what this guitar is trying to be as far as what stickers would be on here. So I think it's kind of a nice touch. Another kind of interesting look right here is the back plate has been worn down where the screw would be. I haven't seen enough vintage Strats. Does that happen? I can't imagine it would. I mean, I could see, a buckle kind of wearing against it, but would it ever actually just completely break through what the screw's holding down? It looks kind of cool though. You can also see somebody engraved Goldie onto the back of the comfort cut right here. And we do have Schaller Strat buttons. So it's just, a heavily aged guitar. I mean, some of this might have been natural at the same time as well. Because this thing, I would guess it's somewhere around 20 years old. I'm not really sure like if this one predates the 2001 date of the company starting, since it was basement era. I'll let you guys talk about that in the comments section. We'll do a blacklight test just for fun here. You can see it glows and then doesn't glow there, which would kind of make sense. I don't know why this bridge pickup glows a lot more. It's just kind of interesting looking at the Relic Jobs like this. Got beautifully glowing stickers here. Yeah, pretty interesting. Look at the back of the neck. Here's where you can kind of tell there's like a finish sprayed over this, because it's dark here and then kind of a more glowing color there. I think if this was real wear, it'd be the exact opposite. This wouldn't glow and then this would. But it does glow. Pretty cool. This instrument does come with a hard shell case. You can see it's got similar styled vintage stickers on it. They're kind of peeling off. I can't guarantee that they're going to stay on. But you got one that says Fender there, and the Rio Grande pickups, which are in here. And I mean, it's fairly worn, but it works. Got the clasp and the 2 latches on either ends. And it is a Fender branded case right there. And you've got a Led Zeppelin sticker in there with this golden interior. It kind of matches the color of the guitar well. So it's Fender branded, but made by G&G. And then Nash puts their own thing on it right here. It's like a neck plate that they just kind of bolt to this compartment. And in here sleeps the Emerson wiring diagram. And I'm guessing that this stuff is like the original pots and wiring harness that came with this guitar. And then you also have some sheets of music that somebody was writing. Something that's a little bit annoying is this lid will not just stay up by itself. Like, it just naturally wants to close. So keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.